Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am participating in a YouTube hop with some fellow Lawn Fawn fans to bring you some spring cards, and this hop is sponsored by Scrapbook Pal. They are giving away a $25 shopping spree to their shop, so stay tuned to find out the details on how you could win it. Today I'm going to be making a Slimline Lift the Flap card featuring this cute stamp set, a bug deal, the Lift the Flap die set, and two of the new Slimline die sets from Lawn Fawn. This is the large Slimline die and the Slimline wavy hillside borders. These are the images that I stamped from the bug deal stamp set, and here I'm showing you the markers that I used to color all the brown images. Here are the green images that I colored and the markers I used. Here's the markers I used to color in my ladybugs and the roly-poly, is that what you call him? Yeah, and the cocoon in warm grays. I colored the butterfly and the frosting on the cupcake with some pink markers. And then for the dragonfly, I'm calling him today, and the talk bubble, I used some light blue markers. And then it was all colored and time to die cut them out. Here they are. Aren't they cute? I am in love with this stamp set. All right, so now let's talk about Slimline cards, and we'll get back to those images in a moment. If you get the large Slimline die set, you might have to run it through your standard size die cut machine 2 times. If you have a large die cut machine such as the Platinum that I am showing right here, you're going to be able to run it through either way. But I like to run it through at an angle so you don't have that straight solid line running parallel with the rollers in your die cut machine. And with that one sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, I can actually get 3 of these pieces. When die cut, they measure 8.5 by 3.5, so that could be the entire front of your Slimline card. I'm actually only going to use 2 panels for mine, but let's talk about my Slimline card. It measures 9 by 8 inches and is scored at 4. So you can see I have a pretty decent border all the way around, 1/4 of an inch on each side. So my card is based on these envelopes that I purchased at the Dollar Tree, and my 9 by 4 card fits in there perfectly. No trouble whatsoever. So you want to base your Slimline card on your envelopes, and you can play with the size of them because they vary a little bit. Now I'm taking the cloudy stencil and making a cute border on one of those panels that I die cut using a Salty Ocean Distress Oxide ink. It might be my favorite ink. I use it a lot. I would say a lot is the right word. So 2 rows of clouds across this Slimline die, and I'm just trying to line up the die. I did really good on the first row, went a little crazy on that second row, but I just tried to line it up, and then once I get all the things on my card, that weird spot, it's not going to be so weird. Now I'm going to spritz that with some water from my distress sprayer and pick that up with a paper towel, and then I'm going to add splatter. If you're new here, splatter is my thing. I like it on everything, so watch for splatter. I'm adding water to some distress ink. This is the same color as my distress oxide, but it's distress ink. Sprayed it with water, adding a little bit of the liquid stardust from Lawn Fawn, and then I'm going to use a paintbrush to splatter that on. Now this is me trying to keep my splatter very controlled. And you'll see here, like for some reason, my splatter tapping finger doesn't work. So for me, using a box is much better because I can go wild and crazy with my splatter. I will show you that on this green panel. So the second of the die cut Slimline pieces, I am going to ink up with Distress Oxide Ink Mode Lawn. I'm doing one side and then I'll flip it over and do the same exact thing on the other side. And I didn't really worry about like the center of this panel because I was going to use those wavy hillside borders to die cut 2 panels that would be grass. So that's why there's white in the middle. You could do the whole thing. You could do some twisted citron in the middle. I love that color. But this is what I did, and it works out. You'll see how I use up all of this paper too. So in my splatter box, you can see here, I can just go to town splattering, and I get so many more variation in my splatters, big ones, little ones, and all the things. So I like a splatter box. I like to go crazy with it. Here are those wavy hillside borders. I love that Lawn Fawn is making them for Slimline Cards now, because Slimline is like my favorite thing to make right now. So I'm cutting one from one side and one from another. You can see the waves are opposite of each other, so they can be stacked, so you can have a close-up hill and a faraway hill. And I have this scrap left over in the middle that I will end up using. So now let's do some die cutting. I have the Shadow Box Park add-on. I think that's what it's called. I'll put it on the screen. And then I'm going to cut the tops of those trees from my leftover hillside paper. I'm using the Lift the Flap die set now to cut a stump, a bush, and some grass from these pieces. But look, the grass only cuts on 3 sides, so it creates a different kind of flap. I didn't end up using that, but I think it's really clever. I cut the top of my stump and an extra stump to make the one cut from printed paper more sturdy, and I cut a rock and a cloud as well. I kind of laid everything out so I could figure out where I wanted my saying to go, and I'm going to stamp that with milk chocolate ink from Altenew right at the top center of this card. That seemed like the best place for what I was going to make. And then I'm going to start adhering all the things together. So here is that first hill. I put it up a little bit from the bottom so it would peek up as much as I wanted it to with the other one in front of it. And then I'll add the tops of the tree. And you can see, even though it fades to white, it's a really cool look. I like it. And then the tree trunk on top of that, one for each side. And I love them die cut from pattern paper. I added the cocoon, and here's the stump with the Lift the Flap. I'm going to put a cute little critter in there, the roly-poly, and he's going to say hi. So when you open it, he has something to say. I love it. Here's the rock, the largest rock from the Lift the Flap set. Under there, we will have a ladybug who is having a party. So there's a little cupcake in there, and then we'll put our little mound of dirt and the worm. So cute right next to that. Here's the bush, which also makes a really cute cloud. I'm going to put the little caterpillar in there. I love that he's waving, and he's saying, sorry to bug you. Isn't that cute? I'm going to have this showing so that it kind of gives the recipient the idea that they should open that up and see what's behind there. I got a little grasshopper on top of the stump, a roly-poly beside it, and this is another grasshopper who appears to be jumping, and all 3 of those are mounted with some foam squares. I have a leaf with a munch out of it and my other ladybug, and here's that same bush die, but die cut from white to be a cloud. And behind there, I'm going to put the little dragonfly, and he's going to say, yay! The butterfly is put on with foam squares and has a little flight trail behind it as well. I'm going to mount this onto a turquoise colored cardstock that measures 8 3/4 by 3 3/4, so that when I mount this onto my card, it will have less of a big border around it. And I decided I needed to change my Slimline card so that it was green. I wasn't loving how the white looked. I felt like the dark colors just draw your eye into the center there. Now the branches I did not end up using on the front of the card, so I put them on the inside for something cute and added the leaves to those as well, just trimming off the excess that hangs outside of the card. So there's one leaf and the other leaf, and I stamped and colored and die cut an extra ladybug for the inside, and we'll add a little sentiment to that in a second. But first I took my white gel pen and added some highlights to all of the critters on here. I just think that really adds to it. Like bugs and worms can be wet, they have a hard shell, so adding a bit of shine really helps add to the look for them. Aren't they cute? I love them. And I did not forget the ladybug and the branch and the leaves on the inside either. So that will finish up all the images, but we have a little more to do, because when I showed this card to my husband, he said, "What's this gray thing?" I was like, "It's a rock. Does it not look like a rock?" I just thought it was a gray thing. So I decided I would add some black soot to it, sponging it on. And then I took my T7 and my T4 markers and added some dots to this. And the T4 dries back much lighter. And I felt like maybe that helped it look more like a rock. What do you think? Can you tell it's a rock now? All right, so right here, this is the original end of the video. The rock does not have the dots, so you can see both versions and tell me what you think. But right here, you can see that it's all done, and I love how this turned out. I was so excited about the Lift the Flap die set. I think it's so much fun. And now it's time to hop along to the next YouTube video in this hop and check out another Lawn Fawn creation with a spring theme. I am hoping to help launch some YouTube channels of some really great makers in this hop. So when you're hopping along, feel free to subscribe and comment on their videos. And if you do, you'll be entered to win a $25 shopping spree to the Scrapbook Pal store if you are in the United States or Canada. And those will be announced in 1 week. So make sure that you tune back in to the videos that you commented on to see if you won. Thanks so much for stopping by, and happy stamping. Bye.